Hi there, welcome to my studio. Thank you for checking out this video. My name is Siobhan. This is where I post videos about figure drawing and specifically how to develop your own natural and responsive style of drawing through drawing the figure. And I also share my own process. So if figure drawing is something that you're interested in, or if you want to learn how to develop a dynamic style of drawing, then consider subscribing so we can stay in touch. So today's video that I'm sharing with you is a drawing that I did of the model from the New Masters Academy model series. I'll leave a link in the description below to the exact pose so that you can follow along with me. And I wanted to talk about how you can combine the two techniques of gesture and contour in one drawing. This approach is a great way to be able to draw the figure with detail and proportion, but also still keep some of that dynamic and expressive quality in your mark making. So here's the video. I'll explain a bit more about the process as I go, and I'll check back in with you at the end. The gesture is always the first thing that I put down on paper. So my first marks are very, very light. You can't actually even see them here, but I'm trying to put down basically the direction and the movement of the pose from head to toe. So I'm not trying to break the figure up into sections just yet, but really just trying to fit that whole thing on the page and get a sense of that through these gestural marks. And I'm working with charcoal, on compressed charcoal on newsprint paper. And for the most part, when I'm working gesturally, I try to use the side of the charcoal and kind of give it those sweeping marks as much as I can. So that for me really is what true gesture drawing is. It's about using big kind of sweeping marks that really very often don't even relate to the actual shape or the outline of the model, but they're important because they establish that dynamic quality of the drawing and really can help you to set that up in the early phases. And that's what this is all about for me anyway. The first half of the drawing is just using gesture marks really lightly. It also really helps me to map out the composition and to get proportion worked out without worrying about making mistakes, because all of these marks will eventually become the drawing in the end. For me, using this very explorative way to kind of set a base for the drawing is great, because then you can go back in and you can work with a much more considered, slower line, and that's where the contour line comes in. So I use a contour line then to build on that base drawing. And I really love drawing like this. Gesture and contour are the two sides, I think, of a total way of drawing that's grounded 100% in observation. You actually don't need to do all that much sighting and measuring. You're just using gesture in an explorative way and then contour to be more specific. So once I know that I've reached a stage where through the gesture I feel that the composition is working, I know where things are in terms of torso, head and legs, then I'll find that it's better to move to a contour line and just pick out really important contours at first. So the edges of shapes and forms that will define the pose, like especially the legs in this standing pose, those are important contours to pick out. So a contour line is generally slow and it's very considered, and the point really is that it's made with as much observation as you can. It's almost like you draw your contour lines without looking at the paper and just looking at the model, if you can. When you combine that with your dynamic gestural marks, then you really can express a lot through your drawing. but it also gives the drawing a really nice and a really good sense of rhythm. Not all the lines then, or all the marks, are the same throughout the drawing. There's a nice variation, there's a tempo when you combine both ways of drawing. Whenever I'm finding it very difficult to draw a certain aspect of the pose, like, the arm that's bent or the length of the leg, I don't know really how to get that without sort of measuring, then I will use a controlled contour line to figure out the shape, because if it's well observed, I find that a contour line will always give you a true shape. For the very last part of the drawing, I just indicated with a few marks the features of the face without going into too much detail. I didn't want to get drawn into that area necessarily, because I've actually felt that the rest of the drawing was working well as a loose study, and I didn't want to get too bogged down in drawing a portrait. I felt that would detract from the lightness of the rest of the pose. But that's just a personal choice, and you could obviously spend more time using a contour line if you wanted to draw the features. But I guess I chose in this instance just to leave it a bit more unfinished. So I really hope this was helpful to you, and let me know if you've got any questions. If you want to know more about contour drawing, I do have a longer video about that, about contour and blind contour. So I'll leave a link to that below, and you can check that out if you want. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it, and for sticking with me right to the end. Please say hi in the comments, or let me know what your thoughts are about gesture drawing and about how you use gesture and contour in your figure drawing studies. I'd love to hear from you. Give the video a like if you think it's worthwhile, and be sure to subscribe if you haven't already so that we can stay in touch. I try to post a video every week. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.